Hello everyone and welcome to this Fat Mage guide. Today we will look closer at how to get as fat as possible to do the maximum damage. And we will look closer to the skills, of course. Okay, now straight to the character creation. Let's pick our fat, ugly, hairy Ogmere. But I'm really glad that we are taking the huegar, and not the Blaine. Oh man, that is really ugly. Okay, I'm really glad that we are taking the huegar. And now please note that I already calculated the Glade gifts in the stats. So the stats that you are seeing in the black box are the final stats with the Glade gifts I will show you soon. The size is just preference because these few attribute points don't make a difference at all. So yeah, I'm just choose the highest size. If you can't go to the height 171, no problem, you could jump around and try to get some other heights and stuff. But I don't like to do this right now. And Starboard already said that they will fix the sliders, I think. So you will have a whopping 138 int, and that will do a lot of damage. Here is the int chart, for example, special thanks to Kaemic, by the way. But Starboard already confirmed that they will change the int curve, and they will change it to something like this orange line here. I just guess that, but that makes the most sense. I know my paint skills are a disgrace for everyone who studied art or something like that. I'm pretty sorry if you're getting eye cancer right now. And your damage will be around where the orange arrow is. So that means party hard for your damage output. And you will have a lot of health anyway, because 208 health is a lot. But you won't have much stamina and you won't have the speed for running on foot. That means the Fat Mage is also a mounted character. Please consider that. Please don't use a Fat Mage on foot unless you know what you're doing. Because of your high weight, you can't carry a lot of materials with you. And if you got dismounted, you have a problem. The Fat Mage is a very specific build, only for some use cases. And because it's a really cheap option to kill high-end PvPers. So just for example, if you fight against a high-geared warrior, he won't have much magic defense. And his gear, for example, is worth maybe 800 gold or something, depends on how high-end it is. But you, as a Fat Mage, for example, invest like 50 silver in your mats, or maybe if you take a little bit more with you, and then it's 5 gold or something. And maybe for a little decent horse like 50 gold or whatever. And of course it depends on the playstyles of both players. But yeah, you are able to kill these people without a problem because yeah, armor is no match for you. But now to some Glade gifts. I highlighted just some. These two increase your carry weight with your armor. You as a mage, if you carry high-end armor or very heavy armor, you won't regain mana as fast as you could. These Glade gifts doesn't help in any way, but here comes the tricky part. If you want to make a 1 versus 1 build as a Fat Mage, then you don't need mana regeneration at all. Because if you put all your points in int and in psy, you have enough mana to kill one guy. Because you can carry a really high weight armor. And the guy keeps pumping arrows at you, maybe not. Maybe you're fast enough. Maybe not. Maybe he's trying to hit you with a sword or something. But you will have a better armor than a fighter. And you will have more damage than a fighter that goes through the armor of the opponent. But if your opponent is a psyfighter, for example, and not a Thusar, then you will have a huge problem. The higher carry limit Glade gift is also very important, that you can carry at least a few materials with you to cast your spells, because you don't have enough strength, so you really need that. And the Ogmere Knockdown, that you can't get knocked down from your horse so easily. We currently don't know how they will implement that, but the name already suggests that, so I think it will exactly do like it says. But now we look closer to the skills. I took advanced creature control for really high level mounts, but you can also do this with armor training. Throw advanced creature control away and use armor training, for example, if you want to go through the full armor build mage. But then it's more a 1 versus 1 fighter. But this build here has a few more uses. You can use that in a group fight because yeah, you can regain your mana. And also for dungeon tours to constantly heal up your group and not healing a little bit and then lay down and then healing a little bit. But please also keep in mind that the heavy armor build of the Fat Mage gets a huge buff in the future if we get mana potions one day. If we get mana potions, then the heavy mounted Fat Mage will be a very, very viable option for PvP. I mean for group PvP. Then anatomy, of course, because bandages are always good. Balance, that you can't get knocked down so easily from your horse. Controlled riding and swift riding for faster riding and less stamina intensive riding for the horse. Creature control depend on your pet points. If you have the lore Mammalia, for example, then your horse won't need so much creature control points. But more of that stuff in the taming and domestication guide, I will link it in the description. Then defensive stance, for example, is always a good option because it really decreases the damage you get a lot. And then economical spells, for example, yeah, that is a no-brainer. But if other magic schools are available, take your other magic school. Maybe if you like that. Maybe you need 2 spells, of course, or maybe 3, depending on which magic school it is. Then just drop defensive stance, for example, or even the advanced creature control or the creature control if you really don't need that stuff. And the taming, of course, because nobody needs taming. I just included taming here because of the one character policy. You should be at least able to get your own horse. I mean, I really recommend that, then it's even cheaper. I mean, seriously, the Fat Mage is the option for the most efficient gold to PvP viability. I mean, you need less gold than on every other PvP build. Don't get mad at me, Fat Mages, but I really would like to see that Star Wars nerfed this a little bit. Because in Mortal On it really grinded on my gears that I was running around with my Thusar in expensive steel and tank steel armor, and then some Fat Mage came along and just killed me, and I really had no chance at all. And some of that stuff didn't happen once or twice or 10 times. It happened a lot. And it was pretty frustrating. So I skilled archery and marksmanship and mounted archery, and then I kicked some Fat Mages' asses. I just included endurance for the passive regeneration. Not the mana regeneration, but the health regeneration. Because that also ends up. But yeah, you're a mage, you can heal yourself. But remember, if you're a heavy armor fighter and you have like 10 HP loss or something, and then you need to dismount, then you need to lay down. Because you don't want to waste your mana reserves and mount up again. Or you dismount, then you heal yourself, then you must lay down because of the mana regeneration, and then you mount up again, and that is all pretty annoying. But it just depends on your personal preference. Yeah, mental offense a no-brainer, mental training is also a no-brainer because that is the overskill. Sprinting, I just include sprinting because, yeah, you are so slow. It's better to have sprinting if you are on foot, because you will not always be on mount, because if you get killed, you have to go and search for a new mount, of course. And if you don't have sprinting, that will be pretty annoying. And vitalism for the mana, of course. And the mana regeneration, of course. So I really hope you found this guide helpful. If you have any questions, feedback or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Please also leave a like and subscribe. And remember to make party hard all the time. See you. Goodbye.